and Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all the honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakodesh. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity, and to the men, women, and children that are listening and learning, and unto the Ba'ath Davidah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad. I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. Okay, so this little article here on the Newsbreak Insider, and it says, you probably think people are getting ruder and less nice than they were in the past. You're also probably wrong. So I'm just going to read just a little bit of this article. I'm not going to go too much into it, but without further ado, let's get started. So let's go down here a little bit. Okay, hold on a second. Oh gosh, it froze on me. Give me a second here. Okay, let it load up here for a second. Sometimes I hate it when this happens, but okay, so it says right here that the majority of Americans believe morals are declining. A new study found, but evidence suggests that this is not the case, even though people have believed it for decades. It could be because people tend to hear negative stories about strangers and have a negative memory bias. But, you know, we all know the truth of why. So, and it says that there is no shortage of stories about airline passengers misbehaving, disrupting flights, attacking their flight attendants, and just generally causing chaos on board, leading many to wonder when people got so out of control. Okay, but it says right here, it says, but if you are among the majority of Americans who truly believe, hold on. There we go. But if you are among the majority of Americans who truly believe people in general are collectively getting worse, you may be suffering from the illusion of moral decline, as a study published in the journal Nature in June was aptly titled. So the study analyzed a new and historical survey data found that people around the world and of all ages believe that morality is declining, and in the U.S. at least. I believe so for at least 70 years, U.S. Americans have been reporting moral decline at the same rate for as long as researchers have been asking them about it. So, let's see here. Study author Adam Mastroianni, an experimental psychologist and author of the blog Experimental History, said the surveys the paper analyzed showing a significant majority of Americans believe morality was declining regardless of when the surveys were given. In a Gallup poll conducted in 1949, 78% of respondents said they believed human race was getting worse when it came to moral conduct. Another Gallup poll from 2019 similarly found 77% of people believed moral values in the U.S. were getting worse. This was true for the old and the young and for conservatives and liberals. Increasingly, survey data also suggests that people believed moral decline began around the time of their birth, regardless of when they were born. At the same time, Mastroianni said the survey data suggests there hasn't actually been moral decline, but just a consistent perception of it. And of course, you know, this whole thing with psychology and all this man-made philosophy, because that's all psychology and psychiatry is, this one of Edom's ways of trying to keep the people who are speaking truth, you know, because when you speak truth in the society, it makes you look like a maniac, right? It makes you look crazy, like a conspiracy theorist. And of course, psychology and psychiatrists would just say that you're suffering from morality decline, or they'll say that you have some sort of mental condition. But you know, that's this. You know, psychiatry is part of Esau Edom's tools. You know. Let's see. that's just the percentage. So evidence suggests morality is not declining, even though most think it is. But you know, in fact, let me get the scripture. This is going to be the book of 1 Timothy. Book of 1 Timothy, chapter 6, verse 20. Let me get it real quick here. It's left here. 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 20, and it says, excuse me. It says, O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings, and oppositions of science falsely so called. And psychiatry is a form of that false science, to try to keep you nice and docile and all that, thinking that everything's going to be okay, it's all in your head and all that crap. Verse 21, which some professing have erred concerning the faith. Grace be with thee. Amen. Okay? So, like I said, psychiatry is a form of one of those man-made philosophies. In fact, what does the book of Colossians say? Book of Colossians, chapter 2. Let me get it. Philippians, Colossians, chapter 2, verse 8. And it says, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the traditions of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Hamashiach. Okay? So that right there tells you, beware of these man-made philosophies and vain deceit after the traditions of men. Okay? Psychology, psychiatry, or whatever you want to call it, is a tradition, is a tradition and a philosophy of man, and it's a vain deceit. Okay? So, yeah, so this right here, I mean, if you pay attention to what's really going on, watching the real news, and keeping your eyes open to what's going on out there, yes, moral decline is happening. And the majority of people, I mean, when the majority of people are talking about this, I mean, you can't just say that it's the perception. No, if there really is a moral decline, and a lot of people are talking about it, you know, you got to look really deep into it and study it and see what's really going on. Well, we all know why. Because of the past events like that scheme-demic that happened back in 2019 to 2020. Okay, with the CV, you know, the war that's going on, and you know, and all of a sudden the shortage of resources, gas prices, inflation. You know, a lot of these things are happening now, and it's gradually increasing. Okay, it says right here, if there is in fact this decline that people believe in, we should be able to find it somewhere in these questions. Mastroianni told Insider, noting that instead the answers to these questions have largely remained the same over time. We should see these lines go down over time, instead going over and over again. We find flat lines. Let's see. Gallup polling, for instance, asked Americans annually how they would rate the current state of moral value in the U.S., and every year people gave low but consistent ratings. In other words, they did not think people in the U.S. had high morals, but rated the amount of morality the same every year. If morality were actually declined, that rating should decrease over time, and yet it does not. Rather than morality declining, there's actually some evidence to suggest that people have higher morals than in the past. The study noted that objective indicators of immorality, like murder, rape, and slavery, have decreased over time. which is not what one would expect if honesty, kindness, niceness, and goodness had been decreasing steadily year after year for a millennia. And that's another script I wanted to get real quick. In the Apocrypha, Second Esdras 16 and 21. And it says, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. Reason why I brought this out is because, even though things don't seem so bad right now, they don't seem bad right now. And people should think themselves to be in good case because, yes, victuals is food, but, this also goes into other things, other than just food, resources and all that. But like I said, people should think themselves to be in good case. But as if you've been keeping your eyes open and discerning what's going on, that good case is about to be a bad case. We're just in the beginning stages of it, and it's going to get worse real soon, Lord willing. But and then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion, because people are going to be wanting to have answers to why all this is happening. And that's when you're going to see a real moral decline. Okay, let me get the book of Matthew. And that's another thing too, is because of all this pseudoscience that Isa puts out there, he's trying to get the people back into that dumbed down state where they basically are just, it's all in their head, or he's trying to make them seem like they're crazy and they need psychiatric help. Okay, this is Matthew 24 and 12, and it says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Okay, because a lot of what's going on in the world, aside from the inflation, the war, shortage of resources, gas prices going up, there's also delays in traveling, and also job losses, and so much more to come. And because of all of this, having these things in society taken from us, and it says, I'll read again, because iniquity shall abound, Matthew 24 and 12, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So, you can look at this article up for yourself and read the whole thing, but, so yes, people do seem to be a lot more cold, rude, and not as nice. Why? Because of what's going on. We're living in the beginning stages of hard times. Okay? And let's see here. This right here is a little survey that they have here. I'm trying to click on it to zoom in on it here. Okay, so, so it says, right now, do you think the state of moral values in this country as a whole is getting better or worse? Source: Gallup, year 2019, 77 reported moral decline. NBC: in general, do you think people today are a lot more honest, somewhat more honest, somewhat less honest, or a lot less honest, or about the same as 20 years ago? NBC, 1995, 74% reported moral decline. DUK, now going down to the next one, it says, do you think the human race is getting better or worse from the standpoint of moral conduct? Source: Gallup, 1949, 78% of moral decline. Going down, it says, Dealing with moral breakdown of the country should be a top priority or important but lower priority of the government. Gallup, in 2014, 76% reported moral decline. Do you think that Americans do you think that Americans used to treat each other with more respect and courtesy in the past, or is this just nostalgia for a past that never existed? Source was Pew, 2002, 77% reported moral decline. You know, like I said, and you could see it for yourself, that we're living in a time of degeneracy, moral decline. You know, and I did a lesson a while ago called We Live in the Age of Degeneracy. And we do. And degeneracy is moral decline. Okay, let's see. Oh yes, this is going to be going back to 2nd Esdras. What chapter was that? 2nd Esdras. Oops, skipped it. 2nd Esdras. Just bear with me one moment. Let's see. Let me see here. Second Esdras. Oh gosh, where is that scripture? It was in I'll get this. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 15, starting from the top. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imagination against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Okay? So, those who don't believe, they're about to get a rude awakening for believing on these man-made philosophies. Okay, and you know, this is exactly what's going to happen, man. You know, the Lord is going to literally the Lord is going to literally show you a true moral decline. And I'm telling you, it's gonna be one hell of a bad time. Okay, here we go. 2nd Esdras 14. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so it says here. I'm going to start at verse 13. 2nd Esdras 14 and 13. Now therefore set thine house in order and reprove thy people. Comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. Okay? Set thine house in order, meaning to get your shit together, and reprove the people, to correct them, and comfort them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. Okay, comfort them with this word. And renounce the corruption, you know. Stand against the corruption of this place. Expose it. You know, wake the people up. Let them know what's going on. Verse 14, let go from the mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature. Okay? You know, as we said before, that this place, America, is a dead end. There's nothing of value here. Fuck this place and fuck the people here. Okay, whether they will hear or forbear. Okay? None of this shit matters. It's all temporal. Verse 15. And set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. Okay? Set aside the thoughts that are a burden unto thee. whether, financial troubles or whatever the case may be with work or with personal life at home with your family, let that cast that, cut that shit out. And hasten to flee from these times. Get into the scripts and prophesy. Verse 16, for yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. Verse 17, for look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. Okay? So, yes, we're seeing evils happening now with mass shootings and so much more, etc. Famine in other countries, people preparing for war, leaving behind the American dollar, inflation, and all the such. So we're about to see a lot worse things as things keep going more and more downhill. Okay, we're about to go through some true hell. So I'm gonna let's see. Let me get verse 18. I'm gonna close out. It says, "For the truth is fled far away, and the leasing is hard at hand. For now hasteth the vision to come which thou hast seen." Okay, so the truth is fled far away because the law is slack in this land, man. There's no truth here in America. This place is a hellhole, full of lies, deceit, and corruption. Okay. For now, hasten the vision to come, okay? To prophesy, okay? Bring forth the word, okay? That's what's tearing this place apart. Is exposing this place for the shithole that it is, okay? Now, I hope that this lesson was edifying. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Rakak Radash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Bayath and Davadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad. I give you my utmost and sincere salutations, okay? See you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharala, Wa Abababal, Shalom, Barakatah.